one woman who has been attacked, albeit by Twitter bans and by other methods of algorithmic strangulation and censorship, has stood the test of time. She has stood up to the bullies on social media. She is the political commentator Dagny Taggart, and I'm glad to say a good friend of mine that I have followed for a long time and learned a lot from, because, Dagny, your family are from the very places currently being shelled by NATO. Haven't I right about that?
Good evening, George. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me on the show. Yes, you are correct. My family is actually located in the town called Yinakiva, which is for people, obviously, who don't know. It's 30 miles from Donetsk and 11 miles from Gorlovka, which is another front line.
It must be very painful for you and others to know that for 8 long years, the mass murder of 14,000 people, these are the United Nations' own figures, 14,000 of your people were murdered by the Kiev regime, and no one even wants to recognize that, let alone atone for it. How painful is it personally?
Personally, I haven't seen my family since 2012. My mom actually and my stepdad came over in 2014 for my birthday, and when war broke out, they stayed with me until 2016. But unfortunately, they've decided to go back because they thought things are coming down. When Trump became a president, they've been told that things are less shelling. My parents worked all their life. My mother is the head of the nursery, so where the children of the age of babies up to the 7 go to nursery. My father is a pediatrician. My stepdad is also a teacher. So they decided to go back, and I haven't seen my mom since 2016, and I haven't seen my dad since 2012, and obviously my extended family since 2012.
And what do you make of these referendums today? Are you concerned that the United States will not recognize them? They don't like referendums in the Donbass. They love them in the Kosovo, but never mind that double standard. Are you concerned that this will not be the end of the matter?
George, I'm not concerned the way for the people of Donbass. If I'm honest with you, it doesn't matter if United States or Europe or Britain recognize them or not. Their main concern is they want to feel secure, and they feel like only Russia can provide them this security. And on another hand, they're also looking for stability. And in stability, I mean, Ukraine was extremely corrupt country. And I'm not talking about with Zelensky government or Poroshenko government. I'm talking about through independence. The moment of their independence, Ukrainian people never had one decent government. They had thieves, literal thieves who robbed them for over 30 years. So am I bothered? Do I think the United States, European Union, and Britain will escalate? I personally do, and that is my greatest fear, unfortunately.
On the other hand, if they escalate, they'll be actually seeking to invade Russia after these referendums if they go the way we all expect them to. And that will bring us to an actual European war, won't it?
Exactly, and this is my main concern. And when our politician like Liz Truss or other politicians say they're going to push the Z button, it's extremely worrying. I have a daughter who was born in Britain, whose half of the family is British. She considers herself British. And I absolutely fear, I'm sure as you do, George, for the future of our children, because the way I see, we are not led by sane people. Actually, I think they're quite insane, if I'm honest with you. With their politics, with their Liz Truss to CNN article, latest article, and the things they say, it's almost as people are totally detached from reality, and they're risking all our lives, and it's I find it absolutely astonishing, if I'm honest with you, George. And extremely worrying. It's extremely stressful. It's not only stressful for my family in Donbass, it's also stressful for my friends and all the people of Great Britain and Europe and America, for that matter.
What's your feeling on this point? I believe that Russia should have done this in 2014. And that the last 8 years of attrition, of carnage, would not have happened. And if Russia had done this in 2014, there would have actually been less upheaval about it than to do it now in 2022. How do you feel about that?
I have the same feeling, George, and I was absolutely open with my family that, and a lot of people in Donbass also felt very betrayed with the Minsk Accords, when Minsk Accords were signed, and eventually nobody implemented them, and they were shelled and bombed. And so I thought Russia, for whatever reasons, did let people of Donbass down in 2014, because there is no way. If you look at rhetorics of Poroshenko, when he gave them, it's all over YouTube. I'm quoting him when he said, "Our children will go to school. Your children will be hiding in the shelters, bomb shelters." And basically, they were telling people that they're not people. They're separatists. It's a great name to give them. So you're basically dehumanizing these people. And what these people are, majority are ethnic Russian people, and Ukraine was trying to cancel their culture, their history, their language, everything for many, many years. And when Yanukovych wanted to sign the law to make both languages legal, so I'm talking about Ukrainian and Russian, there were big uproar about it. And the first thing they did after the coup, they basically canceled Russian language. And I would like to tell, for example, to people of Scotland or Wales, how would you feel if one day you woke up and you've been told your culture is canceled, you're not allowed to use your language, so everything is canceled? How would you feel?
Well, that's what makes it a matter of self-defense, you see. And it's entirely legal according to the United Nations Charter. You're too young to know, but when Roman Catholics were being burned out by loyalist gangs in the north of Ireland, the Irish army mobilized and might well have entered Northern Ireland in order to come to the defense of its compatriots, of its co-religionists. The people in eastern Ukraine are Russian people. And what Russia is doing now is not only perfectly legal, it should have been done long before now.
I absolutely agree, George, and I'm actually extremely happy because reading the results, it's over 70% voting in DPRs, over 70% voting in LPR, and I guarantee you that these people were voted to be part of Russia, because these people not only looking for security so their children can go to school without or staying in the shell or anything like that. They're looking for stability as a financial stability, because
well, look, Dagny, they'll be much better off as part of Russia in every way. First of all, they will have the very powerful and strong Russian armed forces to defend them. They'll be using the ruble, the world's best performing currency in 2022. Who saw that coming? They'll be part of a rich country rather than a basket case country that is going to be a financial burden on the European Union and the British taxpayer for the rest of all time. It's a no-brainer, actually, that the people, in all the circumstances we've just been discussing, are voting in overwhelming numbers to join Russia.
What I would like to tell you, George, I'm not sure if I'm aware of it. After 2015, when the Minsk Accords were signed, basically Ukraine canceled all pensions. So my mother, who worked all her life, she's 64 now, but she was in her 50s then. She's not receiving Ukrainian pension. They refuse pension. They stop paying people then. So can you imagine this grandmaster of 78 years of old, and if they didn't have any family to help them, they basically ended up with no source of income. So
that's incredible. I didn't know that. Dagny, the line is breaking up a bit, but you've done fantastically well on your television debut, the first of many appearances, I hope.
Thank you so much,
joining us
Thank
on the
you.
Mother
Thank you.
of All Talk shows.